Hello everyone, my name is Chloe and today I am here with a brand new video. The year is coming to a close and I decided that I wanted to take the next 5 or so minutes to talk about my year in writing. Now I will be doing a whole year in reading video as well, but I wanted to do a short little one to just talk about some of the writing goals that I accomplished this year. Because we only have about 2.5 weeks left in the whole year, I'm probably not going to finish any big projects that I've been working on. So I thought I would just come and reflect on all the accomplishments that I had throughout the year. So this year I actually did something that I've never done before, which was create a yearly writing schedule, or maybe call it more like goals. And I broke it up into quarters. So we will briefly break it down quarter by quarter, and we're going to start in quarter 1. I only had 2 goals in the first quarter because I was getting married right at the beginning of the year, so I wanted to keep it extra light just in case I couldn't dedicate a lot of time to it. And my 2 goals were to write my notes for draft 4 of my Cinderella story, and then to actually start draft 4. And both of those happened fairly quickly. A lot of it was done after my wedding and my honeymoon. So mostly like February and March. Quarter 2 was a little bit more with doing draft 4 of the Cinderella novel. I wanted to write a draft of the synopsis of the Cinderella novel. I wanted to brainstorm an idea for a brand new book and kind of outline it. And I also wanted to participate in Camp NaNoWriMo. All of those things I accomplished during that quarter. I feel like draft 4 of the Cinderella book finished up fairly early on. And I spent a lot of time actually drafting a new book idea. So when I'm between drafts of projects, so let's take the Cinderella story for an example, I try and work on something else, whether it be my Little Mermaid novella or in this case a brand new book, to kind of get my mind away from what I had been working on and focus on something different for a little bit. And I actually started writing the brand new book at the end of June as well. And that kind of kickstarted my quarter 3 because one of my goals in that quarter was to start the brand new book, and I did right at the end of June. I also wanted to participate in Camp NaNoWriMo again, which happened in July. I also wanted to complete draft 1 of the brand new book, which I did. And I will talk about that new book in a little bit. And quarter 4 I kept extra light. I wrote out the pros and cons of traditional publishing versus self-publishing. I wrote out my writing plan for the new year. I did draft 2 of my Little Mermaid novella, and I wrote out detailed notes for the final draft of the Cinderella story. So let's actually briefly talk about each project that I worked on this year because I have 3. So the main one that I've been working on since 2021 is my Cinderella retelling. It has a working title. I'm not really using the working title very much because I think I need to change it based off of some plot points that changed. But I've been working on this book for, we're going on 3 years now. It is a retelling of Cinderella following a stepsister. It involves some magic. It is a dual timeline. So we are learning about the stepsister as well as another character, and it's a romance. That's what I've been working on for the bulk of this year, and I anticipate to have a final completed manuscript next year that I can start to format to potentially query. I've been looking a little bit more into querying and the process. So the other project that I worked on was my Little Mermaid novella. This is kind of part of a bigger project that I'm working on with my writing group, but also I'm the only one who has completed their novella, so it's kind of also just a project for me. And this is a Little Mermaid retelling following an 8th sister who was previously non-existent, essentially. We know Little Mermaid, there's 7 sisters. Well, this is the 8th one. And she was the eldest. She was the heir to the throne. I could go into more detail with that, but because it's just a novella, I don't want to get like too crazy into details with it. And then the main thing that also happened this year was I wrote a brand new book. And I did not write a romance with fantasy elements. I ended up writing an adult rom-com. This is my librarian romance that I have kind of been thinking up for a while. It is also Adam Driver coded because I love him. I wrote an adult rom-com following 2 library workers who work in the same library, and they fall in love. And I only did the first draft of that this year. I actually haven't touched it in a couple of months because I've been working on other projects, but I am very excited to get back into that one. I have been thinking about it, and I'm excited. While I was writing that, I also had a revelation of how to make it a companion series, and that companion series is going to be at least 5 books. So those are the 3 projects that I worked on this year, and to kind of wrap up this video, I want to talk about what's next. So for each individual project, we'll talk about what's next with them. Next for the Cinderella story is to finish working on draft 5, aka the final draft. I have already started it. I wasn't anticipating starting it until January, but I was actually able to start it a couple of weeks ago. I'm like barely in, like maybe a quarter of the way in. I've also been doing some writing workshops that have kind of helped with the revision process. Ideally, I would like to query that to agents in 2024, but I have no idea. I've been working on it for 3 years now. It's a scary thought. And I have trouble enough trying to write a synopsis for it, let alone a query letter. For the Little Mermaid novella, I think that will be going into draft 3 this year. I don't know how many drafts there will be of it. I kind of just write until I feel like it's done. So probably 3 or 4 total drafts. So I might be able to finish that by the end of the year if I split it up in like the beginning of the year and the end of the year. For the library rom-com, I do anticipate doing draft 2 fairly soon, within the first or second quarter of the new year. I am very excited to dive back into that world, and I love it so much. And then ideally I would like to write another book this year. Probably library rom-com number 2. I have a whole notes file of different book ideas that I would like to work on, so I don't know for sure if it'll be library rom-com number 2. That is the project that I am most excited about, but I have a lot of projects that I'm excited about, so we shall see. And that's kind of everything that happened in my writing life this year. I have been working with my writing group again. I'm actually filming this the day before another meeting, and I'll be working on draft 5 of the Cinderella story. And I have been doing a lot of writing workshops virtually, just to kind of work on my craft or get thoughts on next steps as far as like revision and querying and whatnot. I actually just did a writing workshop called Using Business Strategy to Pick Your Next Writing Project, and that one was very interesting. And yeah, the end of the year has really had me focused on reading a lot, but the new year will definitely bring the revitalization of the writing mood. Right now it's kind of hard for me to get back into the writing mood because I took such a long break in between projects, but I'm slowly getting there. I work on draft 5 like once a week right now. But it's like once a week for a long period of time. So that is all I have for this video today. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you like what you see here, please go ahead and click subscribe. I post new videos every week, so click subscribe so you can be updated for when I post those. And that is all I have for you all today, so I will see you in my next one. Bye! In the darkness, I don't feel so